Welcome to our presentation on the Bhopal gas disaster, which took place on the 2nd of December in 1984, by Nathan Deer and Jubal Thomas.
The gas incident took place at the Union Carbide plant in Bhopal, India, located on the map as central India. Bhopal is a place, there's a communication hub and a transport hub. There they produce Sevin, a pesticide. Union Carbide tried to boost sales by increasing production of Sevin. Unfortunately, this did not boost sales and led to financial issues for the plant. In order to boost profits, the company tried cutting back on staff, which led to firing a lot of high-skilled workers. The incident took place on the night between the 2nd and 3rd of December. The leak was of methyl isocyanate, or MIC, and trace other chemicals like chloroform and hydrochloric acid. This led to exposure of over 500,000 people and 2,295 immediate deaths directly caused by the gas leak. This was exacerbated by the open-air design of the houses. The chemical process used to make Sevin used MIC and 1-naphthol. The MIC was first imported to the site, but the plant was fitted so MIC could be made on site. MIC was stored in one of 3 tanks. When MIC comes into contact with water, it causes an exothermic reaction, so water was kept away from MIC. One of the ways they did this is in the tanks, nitrogen was also stored with it to prevent moisture getting to the MIC. Now we'll be taking a look at some of the risks of MIC. Also going to have a quick look at the things they have done to reduce risks and things they could have done. First, the inhalation of MIC. Both the staff and surrounding population will be vulnerable to this, as MIC can cause irritation of the eyes and mouth, cause lung damage, and eventually death. To control this risk, staff are on guard for leaks, and gauges have been used to measure certain changes in pressure, though these were faulty. What they could have done was proper maintenance of the equipment and facilities, retrain staff to focus on safety instead of saving money, and create an emergency plan in the event of a leak. Another risk was the explosion of a tank if it had built up too much pressure due to a reaction in the tank. This is a risk because an exploding tank can hit staff with debris and toxic chemicals. To control this risk, gauges were installed with tanks to measure the pressure, but these were faulty. A relief line was connected to each tank, which lead to a non-functioning flare tower and one working gas scrubber. The gas scrubber was used to remove toxic gases, and the flare tower was to remove anything else by burning it. What they could have done is retrain staff to take readings more seriously, and also repair gauges so they wouldn't have to guess if the gauge was malfunctioning or something bad was happening. Another thing they could have done was repair the automatic alarms. The last thing is to keep the refrigeration system running, as that would have stopped smaller reactions and give more time when a large reaction was occurring. Now we'll be taking a look at what the plant did to reduce risks before the incident, or more importantly, what they didn't do. An audit was performed on the plant and reported that safety equipment, alarms, and instruments were poorly maintained, and that poor worker performance due to high turnover. A plan was set up to fix this, but was never followed up. During a visit, a senior engineer saw what was happening at the plant and reported directly to Union Carbide. Union Carbide did nothing about it. An internal UCC report was done on the sister plant in the USA. It noted a high risk of a runaway reaction in the MIC storage. Additionally, the response plan was not effective enough to deal with the crisis. This report was unfortunately not forwarded to the Bhopal plant. By 1984, many safety systems were either not functioning or were not in use. This included many of the vent gas scrubbers, the flare tower, and the refrigeration system. Now we'll be taking a look at the cause of the incident. Cleaning was being done using a hose with water in one of the pipes, during which water got into one of the tanks of MIC. The pressure rise, but this was attributed to a malfunctioning gauge, as this was common among the plant, and particularly that gauge, as it was malfunctioning the entire week. Eventually, workers near the flare tower started to have irritation in the eyes and mouth. This was the first signs of MIC contamination. This was caused by MIC breaking the relief valve and then out of the flare tower. When this was told to the supervisor, they were told to spray water at the tank and to look for other leaks. Later on, they were also told to spray water at the flare tower, as MIC is water soluble. But unfortunately, the water pressure wasn't high enough to reach the top. Gas flare escape started to condense thanks to the cool air and started to rain down on the surrounding area. Now we'll be taking a look at what could have been done to help prevent this disaster. First off, a slip blind could have been used. A slip blind is a piece of metal that can be slid in between pipes to isolate sections. This could have been used to separate the pipes that were being cleaned from the tanks. There was an attitude of cutting corners to cut costs created by pressure from the Union Carbide. There should have been an atmosphere of safety first, so staff are more on the ball at preventing incidents and prepared when they do occur. They should have followed the action plan that was given by the audit. This was a sign of gross, purposeful negligence on both the plant and the company. And overall, better maintenance should have been done. They couldn't use the refrigeration system as it was turned off during the incident. If it was on, it would have kept the gas at 4.5 degrees Celsius. For smaller reactions, this could completely stop the reaction from occurring. For larger reactions, it can give the staff more time to prepare or to either prevent the incident via other methods. They could have prepared the flare tower to burn escaping gases so they become less dangerous substances, or repair the other gas scrubbers so they have more capacity to get rid of more toxic chemicals. An emergency plan could be made with collaboration with local authorities so they can direct the public more efficiently and warn people of the dangers. In short, the incident was made worse by a lack of maintenance, a lack of planning, and negligence on both staff and the company.
As the citizens of the densely populated neighborhoods nearby the plant slept at the early hours of the morning, the methyl isocyanate gas began to enter their homes, which lacked doors and windows. The majority of the residents immediately died due to being exposed to the dangerous gas through inhalation or skin penetration. Methyl isocyanate gas, commonly referred to as MIC, results in the damage of the respiratory system and other organs incredibly quickly. This is why it results in a quick death. Many people also tried to flee the area due to the warnings provided by officials and the plant itself. However, they ended up traveling towards the plant, which resulted in more deaths. In addition, many were on foot rather than in cars, which meant they were easily exposed to the gas due to the lack of protection. Phosgene is a colorless gas which was also leaked through the Bhopal tragedy. In high concentration, it has the ability to corrode a person's lung tissue and cause death through suffocation. Many patients arrived in hospitals with convulsions and had spasms in their esophagus due to being exposed. In addition, it can cause hydrolysis in a person's lung by reacting to the water molecules, forming carbon dioxide and hydrogen chloride. Furthermore, phosgene can have post effects such as pulmonary scarring and also bronchitis. Many long-term effects were recorded due to the exposure to the gas from the Union Carbide plant leakage. Damages to the eyes were quite common. Many patients had visible scars on their cornea, and some were incapable of basic eye functions, such as tear secretion. Symptoms of early cataracts were also discovered, as well as opacities in the cornea. Eye diseases in exposed patients were double of those who weren't exposed to the gas in Bhopal. This was recorded between 1996 and 2002. There are also increased numbers of tuberculosis cases in exposed areas of Bhopal compared to the non-exposed areas. Previous diseases such as pulmonary fibrosis were aggravated, and obstructive diseases were also recorded in patients nearby. Lung disease in the exposed area was 3 to 5 times higher than non-exposed areas in the same time frame. Another long-term effect of the gas leakage in Bhopal is the effect it has on the genetics of those people who were exposed to the gas. Chromosomal aberrations were recorded on individuals who were in the vicinity of the gas. Many further reports provide information in regards to the birth defects post-tragedy and shows the increased rate of defects in families with no previous history. Furthermore, definite rise in cancer has been recorded in areas which have been exposed to the gas. Experts have reported previously that a 30-year lag phase would occur before the cancer-related health problems arise. Leukorrhea and menstrual cycle disruptions were also reported by younger women after being exposed. Premature menopause were also common among the gas victims and their offsprings in relation to non-exposed communities in Bhopal. The gas leakage had direct effect on the plant life nearby. It caused trees to blacken, and white powder also rested on surfaces such as the grounds and lakes surrounding the plant. Vegetables and groundwater from the homes in the vicinity of the factory showed contamination of metals such as mercury and lead and other toxic contaminants. These contaminants were also later found in breast milk. Union Carbide was supposed to clean up the factory as part of the leasing agreement. However, they abandoned the site with toxic waste being dispersed. In addition, many chemicals were also buried underground, which may have resulted in a spike of chemicals and contaminants in the soil samples recorded later. A scheme was written to provide safe drinking waters to the gas victims near the residential areas of the factory. The scheme is up to 3 crores, which equates to £345,000, and this money was released to the authorities in the local areas. There are a lot of financial consequences for Union Carbide. In 1985, Union Carbide was requested to pay $5 million to the American Red Cross Society due to their faults surrounding the maintenance or lack of in their factory based in Bhopal, India. This money was later sent to the Indian Red Cross Society. Furthermore, in 1987, they were initially asked to pay an interim compensation to the victims,
which equated to $270 million. Union Carbide was later then requested to pay $470 million for the Bhopal tragedy. This figure was composed of the insurance sum of $350 million and further interest in 1989. A lot of negative attention was raised as chemical accidents involving Western corporations were occurring frequently across Eastern countries. In addition, the information which were released to the public, such as the cost-cutting efforts made by Union Carbide, which resulted in the lack of safety, caused monetary loss for the company and damages to the reputation of the corporation. As the report suggests, they valued profits more than the safety of their employees and the citizens near their site. Furthermore, the level of publicity and outrage from the Bhopal disaster and the legal challenges charged upon Union Carbide created a lot of bad publicity. In addition, it also highlighted previous tragedies involving the corporation, such as the asbestos mining in early 60s and the West Virginia gas leakage which occurred only a year after the Bhopal disaster. All of these factors had a negative impact on the business itself and the reputation. Due to the fact Union Carbide is a subsidiary of Dow Chemical Company, which is also a subsidiary of Dow Incorporated, the effect of poor reputation and financial consequences were not enough to consider the Union Carbide subsidiary no longer profitable, as it's still operating today. In addition, acceptation of responsibility by the company later on and providing the aid during the tragedy improved their marketing as it helped their reputation go up. Furthermore, it decreased the animosity towards the company as they reacted appropriately to the situation at hand. The viability of Union Carbide is relatively high. This is due to the fact it only being a multinational corporation which acts as a subsidiary for an incorporation. In addition, the corporation's reaction to the previous tragedies and the aid provided in the aftermath have all resulted in a higher viability considering the situations which took place. Furthermore, the fact that Dow Incorporation purchased the company in 2001 shows that the company is not only viable, but it is also marketable. Thank you for your attendance in this presentation today.